Think we're live now. And so I'm going to go over some things that I could be wrong about coming out of this pandemic, or essentially predictions and things that, I think obviously none of us know what's going to happen. I think we know a lot what's been trending over time over the retail industry, especially here at Lot Pop, but we don't know what's going to happen. So here's some predictions that I could be wrong about, but here's what I think is happening. I think we'll get some kind of soft opening. And what I mean by soft, as far as people, the government and national wise, we get a soft by, beginning of mid-May, we get a soft opening. That means maybe restaurants start opening the doors, but have social distancing tables and things like that. And I think the car business, or the car industry, we're starting to see that already softening. Guys up in Michigan now get to do online sales. I hope Pennsylvania, starting to join and stuff. But I think we're going to be able to get good soft sales going beginning to mid-May. And I think by June, we'll actually hit about, I'm hoping dealers are hitting about 75, 80% of their previous sale rates. So if they did, June's a typical month of 100 units or so, they're going to hit about 75% of that. Now, I did do some trending, and I did post it on Facebook and LinkedIn about 2005 to 2020 new car sales, and May outsold April every 87% of the time. So May should outsell April. Obviously, if we weren't able to sell much or anything in April, I'm hoping that May trend continues. If not, I think June maybe make that up a bit. And if that happens, if we get to be able to do a soft opening in beginning and middle of May, I think June will be 75, 80%. That means hopefully July, we're at that 90% range. In July, August is typically those stronger summer selling months. So maybe those are the months that we're actually be able to get some traction. And then I don't think we get to any kind of 100% type numbers till maybe December. And so what I'm curious about, and I don't know, is manufacturers, in October, November, are they still building 2020s because of the way they had to shut down the factories? Do they still have too many 2020 parts left over, or are they already going to move over and transition to 2021s? And if that's the case, or do we have mid-year models like 20.5s? Don't know what's going to happen there. So we might have an influx of new cars, new 2020 still being shipped to dealers, and big incentives. So I think that's where December is usually a strong month at the model year clearance events, but it might be pretty big because there might be more than just into the model year clearance. It might be an influx of inventory sitting out there that these OEMs need to get off of. I do be surprised. This is a prediction I could totally be wrong on, because again, customers are going to be hesitant to be around other people for a while. At least some people are. I don't think everybody. So don't be surprised if you actually get a bump in floor traffic. And what I mean by that is, let's say, customers been cooped up all winter. They're being cooped up now, and with this isolation, they might not mind going and driving around town, getting in their car, getting out and about, and maybe walking to dealerships a lot and actually talk with people. So, and again, maybe at a social distance rate, but that one I could be totally wrong on. But I'm just thinking to myself, I might get to the point, let's just go for a drive. Let's go drive around. We know this dealership and this dealership are close, and they got some stuff we want to look at. Let's just go get out of the house. And so that might happen. Another one that I think should happen, and this is out of my control, but I think CPO is going to be, the real winner out of this. And here's my explanation on that. And I've been talking about it over the last couple of weeks, and in our weekly used car State of the Union address, I mentioned it, and I mentioned it to our team. And I think just this Friday or Saturday, Volkswagen did this. But I basically said, the real winner out of this could be CPO. And here's why. If the OEMs are strategic and smart about this, obviously, if domestic wise and import wise, because of their factories being shut down and stuff and things being transported and everything, but late model used cars, there's going to be an abundance of them. Right. And those, the values, if those really take a tumble, It's going to affect the residual values of trying to do lease programs on these 2020s and 2021s trying to come out. It's going to do a trickle down effect to all the other years. So the 20s and 19 used cars are going to take a hit, which means the 18s and 17s are going to continue to take a hit. So if I was an OEM like a Ford, GM, I would put a big incentive on CPO. And that should be able, maybe it's a 0% for 60 months. I think Volkswagen, that's what I'm talking about, just posted this. But if they did a strong incentives and strong warranty on late model pre-owned, if new car availability isn't there, even though a customer might be able to get 0% for 84 months and defer payments, why not do something similar on a CPO? Because the new cars isn't available yet. And the CPO then, if dealers as an alternative, plus customers may not have the budget for a brand new car, but they can do it on a nice pre-owned car that has a good warranty and a good interest rate, 0% and deferred payments. And it holds then the values of those cars, right? It's going to help that deteriorating and holds those values to then get residual values stronger to then help them, with these lease cycles. So hopefully, I think CPO in the long run, because again, what I talked about at the beginning, the manufacturing, are we going to be building 2021s in December, and are we still building out 2020s? And so I think the availability aspect of it, to be able to retain the values a bit of these cars so the used car market doesn't crash and do a tumble down. I think, and in the long run, it's going to take a while for the economy to come back and for people to get secure enough to buy new cars that, I think CPO could end up being the real winner out of this. And so I would be prepared for that. If you're not a CPO store, I would train up my stores. I would train up my people and understand the programs, because I just don't doubt that doesn't happen. I could be wrong, but man, it makes so much sense to me. Also, that leads to another thing I could be wrong about. If the economy comes back strong, and this isn't a pro-Trump or anti-Trump statement. If the president stays the same, because any movement in president is going to cause lack of trust in the market until we figure out what the new president's policies are going to be. I think I think it took 4 years. Okay, 2007. I think we did 16 million new cars. The recession hit 08, 09, it dropped 09 down to 10 million cars, from 16 million to 10 million. And it took 7 years, 2014, before we even seen, 16 million units. So from 07 to 2014, before we've seen that gap to get back to 16 million new car sales. Now, it only took 4 years to get to 15 million. Okay, so we're going to leave that kind of market again. We're at the 17 to 16 million new cars. I think if the economy bounces back, because think about this, in the recession, it had to slowly come back. Unemployment had to slowly come back. I think unemployment will come back quicker because, again, a restaurant that closed down might have 20 employees. They're going to bring at least half that staff back. I think half the unemployment will be wiped out as soon as the economy opens back up again. Okay, so unemployment, people will go back to work, and the companies will at least have half their staff back and then trickle it up from there. So I think we can get back to, that 15 million range in maybe 2 years, instead of taking 4 like it did in the last one. But again, this is where I could be wrong. It could take, I think, 5 years or longer than it did the previous recession, because it took 4 then. I think it could take 5 if, production, the economy, they don't hire as many people back. This drags out to July, August, September, and people are confined, and unemployment is going to last longer. And some companies are going to go totally belly up by then, and there's no job to come back to. So it could take 5 years to do that. So think about that. It's going to take a couple years, if not 5 years, to get new cars back to the way it was. So used cars is going to be very important. And that's where I think, again, CPO becomes the real winner out of this. So those are some of my predictions, some of the things I could be wrong about. But again, I think, you tell me, what's your thoughts? When do you think we'll be able to make it back into a soft opening to a strong opening, the economy? And then what do you think is going to happen on new and used? If you like free inventory evaluation, just go to lotpop.com. call or email me, 844-LOT-POP4. We got some good reporting in there to help dealers to get through this. If you want to see how your inventory stacks up, let us know. But again, keep your head up, stay strong and healthy through this, and can't wait to be able to get things back open again.